is bombing USA. USA. This kill people.
Kill children.
This is bombing USA. USA.
I want to give all praise and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahushai Bahasham Ha-Rekah Kodash. Double honors unto our apostle elders, which rule great millstone well, and shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel. May you endure unto the end. Shalom wa abal. So as you saw that video, which they had a piece of a rocket, a missile that destroyed their homes, and it said made in U.S. You know, it's saying where it came from. It said U.S., United States. All right, so that's prophesied. All right, that the Edomite, the so-called white race, was given the power of the sword, and they were given a great sword, the nuclear missile. All right, it says in Revelation 13:9, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here's the patience and the faith of the saints. So as this man rains missiles on people's heads, remember, they're the same ones that dropped atomic bombs on Japan, which is a nuclear power, right? They will receive the same, okay? It says, whatever you sow, you shall reap. All right. So all we're doing is waiting patiently for this to happen. For Esau, the so-called white race, to get what they fucking deserve, which they're going to get hit with nuclear missiles. All right. It's only inevitable, as it is prophesied, that America will be destroyed by nuclear missiles when they are the ones that drop missiles on the world. All right, we were going into this yesterday in camp. Who is the nation that does this? It's the so-called white race. All right, you don't see Africans dropping bombs on people. You don't see Chinese or Japanese dropping bombs every day on people. All right, it's the so-called Caucasians, right? The Aboriginal, the Japheth Aboriginal ain't dropping missiles on people. All right, it's the Edomite. It's the so-called white race that was given the sword, which is Revelation 6:3. It says, I'll just jump to the point, verse 4, and there went out another horse, which they were given power, that was red, to the red devil, the so-called white man. Their biblical name is Edom, their forefather Esau. And power was given to him that sat thereon to take peace from the earth. And that's what they do with their missiles. They take peace from the earth. And that they should kill one another. World War I, World War II, and World War III. And there was given unto him a great sword, nuclear missiles. All right, going to Revelation 13:11. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, which this is talking about America. And he had two horns like a lamb. The two horns represent the Republican and the Democrat. And he spake as a dragon, and they're signing draconian law right now to put us to death. And he exerciseth all the power of the first beast, which they're in the image of ancient pagan Rome Empire, the Roman Empire, the pagan Roman Empire, before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed. And it was healed by America's coming into existence. All right. America is the modern day Rome that conquered the world, the known world, just like Rome did. In fact, so you could look this up. I did it for you. Roman Empire. All right. You can see the map. Okay. All right, and this is a list of America's bases, and you can see they're pretty much in the same places of that Roman Empire over there, around the Mediterranean Sea. All right, because this is the reincarnation of Rome. So you can see right there, it's all around that area which Rome occupied before. All right, and they did the same thing, conquering the world with their military. All right, so it says in verse 13, and he did great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men. Which I just showed you that video. There's that video right there.
These motherfuckers need.
This is bombing USA. USA. This is kill people.
Kill children.
See? With what? Calling down fire from heaven. They shoot those missiles into the heavens and then they come down on the people. It says in Revelation 13 and 12, and he exerciseth the power of the first beast before him, and causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed, and he doth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and deceiveth them that dwelleth on the earth by the means of those miracles, which it makes them afraid who could go to war against this man and his beast system, which he had power to do in the sight of the beast, which America is the whore that rides the beast, and the beast is the European Union. Together they have NATO, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast. So you have a beast system throughout the whole world in the image of the so-called white race, which had the wound by a sword and did live, because they're the Romans, they were the Greeks, and today you have the European Union and America. And he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which we're seeing it right now take its breaths into existence, that the image of the beast, the system of this devil, should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed. So this sheriff, all right, he's talking to these protesters, and pretty much they got the draconian law that if you do what they don't like, they can put you to death. And this is leading to the implantable microchip. They're going to say if you don't accept that implantable microchip, they will be able to put you to death. The implantable microchip is the mark of the beast, and they're going to make it mandatory worldwide for buying and selling. And as you can see in this room, they're all red, from the female to the males, from the males to the female. They're all red. All right, they're not white, they're red. They are the red devil the Bible speaks of. Their biblical name are the Edomites, and their forefather is Esau. The wicked is a title for them.
Everybody, if you throw a brick, a firebomb, or point a gun at one of our deputies, we will be notifying your family where to collect your remains at, because we will kill you graveyard dead. We're not going to play. This has got to stop. If you resist lawful orders, you're going to jail. Let me be very clear about that. If you block an intersection or a roadway in Brevard County, you are going to jail. If you flee arrest, you're going to go to jail tired, because we are going to run you down and put you in jail. If you try to mob rule a car in Brevard County, gathering around it, refusing to let the driver leave, in our county, you're most likely going to get run over and dragged across the street. If you spit on us, you're going to the hospital and in jail. If you hit one of us, you're going to the hospital and jail, and most likely get bitten by one of our big, beautiful dogs that we have here. You're watching what's taking place out there. You're seeing police officers.
See, but as you saw, he said that we will kill you. We will murder you. All right? Which they said that they were pointing guns and throwing bricks. But who was putting the bricks there? Who put the guns in the community? It was the red devil, that so-called white man. All right? They are the wicked. And just like they say, they're master manipulators. Oh, we're impoverished. It says that about Esau in Malachi chapter 1. That's how he does his destroying. He says, we're impoverished. I got to murder you. Right? I got to murder you. That's the MO of Esau. I'm poor. I got to murder you. I got to eat. I got to murder you. I'm afraid for my safety. I got to murder you. That's the MO of Esau. He's a master manipulator, a liar from birth, and he is the devil, which comes to steal, kill, and destroy. It says in Revelation 13 and 15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, which this is why they're talking like that. The image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed, which once again is going to lead to the implantable microchip, the mark of the beast, which if you watch that movie Escaping from LA, they show you that the chip is in that same time of all that chaos. All right, you have earthquakes, you got uproars of the people, and you got the implantable microchip being mandated by the government. All right. Hunger Games. They put a microchip in her. They put a tracking device in her arm. This is the intentions of the so-called white race, and they're going to use the threat of taking your life if you don't obey. All right. Which the elect will not be deceived. It says in verse 16, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads, which is that implantable microchip. And Elon Musk, he's one of many billionaires that own shipping companies where they put a microchip in your head or in your hand. And that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Look up Ripple. The Ripple has a microchip. For what? For transactions. What kind of transactions? Currency. It says, here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast. For it is the number of a man, and his number is 666, the number 666. So it's not by accident that Trump's son-in-law lives at 666 in Manhattan. Or they use 666 on a bill when they passed the legislation to bring forth this implantable microchip. All right, and their draconian laws, they usually put a 666 on it. All right. Now, let me go to 14, Revelation 14 and 9. It says, and the third angel followed them, saying with a loud voice, if any man worship the beast and his image, meaning you want this place to continue, you want the so-called white race to continue ruling, and receive his mark, or it says, and receive his mark in his forehead or in his hand, the implantable microchip, the same shall drink of the wine of the wrath of Yahweh Bahasham Yahushai, which is poured out without mixture. No mercy will be shown you. Into the cup of his indignation, which is America. And he shall be tormented with fire and brimstone is sulfur, in the presence of the holy angels and in the presence of the Lamb, because they're going to eat nuclear missiles. That's the punishment for receiving that implantable microchip. Whether you're here in America, you're going to eat nuclear missiles, or you go to the Valley of Jehoshaphat as a soldier for this devil, fighting for it, fighting for the so-called white man and his wicked-ass kingdom, right? They're going to chip all these soldiers and put them in that Valley of Jehoshaphat, and the Lord's going to burn them up there. And the nuclear missiles are going to eat the flesh of them here. It says, and the smoke of their torment ascendeth up forever and ever. So this place is going to burn for a very, very, very long time, and then smoke for a very, very long time, and then eventually it's going to become a desert for desert creatures. No man shall dwell here in America. Israel, which is going to be burnt up because it's part of that valley of Jehoshaphat, where the Lord's judgment is going to be carried out against the armies of the world of Esau. That land is going to be brought back on the back of our slaves. All right, the heathen that hide in the bunkers all over the world, the rich that are being put in these bunkers to survive the judgment, they're going to be brought out of those bunkers in shackles, and they're going to begin to bury the dead bodies and to build our kingdom. The heathen that hide and survive, they're going right into slavery under the Israelite. That's why they're being preserved in the bunkers for our sake. It says, in the smoke, let's see, I got that. It says, and they have no rest day nor night, who worship the beast and his image, and whosoever receiveth the mark of his name. But you can see these movies about the implant, you're pretty much tormented with it. You're never going to be able to rest. There's that movie Implanted, where the implant literally takes over his brain. And then there's the other one, it's with a woman, and when she takes the implant, which she takes it thinking it's a benefit, but then it becomes a curse upon her because they take over her mind and her body, and they make her do things that she didn't want to do, like murder. All right, it says in verse 12, here is the patience of the saints. So the sanctified Israelites, we're going to wait for the Lord to save us. Here are they that keep the commandments of Yahweh and the faith of Yahushai, because the commandments of Yahweh promises that he's going to send Yahushai to save us and avenge us. So that's where we're resting, all right, on these promises. That's why we're on these scriptures day and night, meditating on these promises which he gave to the Israelite, Romans 9 verse 4. All right, we're going to reap this reward as long as we remain faithful. But the 2/3 that die here in America, they're going to come back through the loin of the elect as children in righteousness, because the Lord is going to deliver all Israel. It says all Israel shall be saved, but 2/3 in America will die in the lake of fire because of the lack of faith. But they will come back reincarnated through the loins of the elect. Let's see. It's right here in Romans 11, verse 26. It says, and so all Israel shall be saved, as it is written, there shall come out of Sion, the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. All right. But the 2/3 that die here, once again, because of their unfaithfulness, as it is predestined for them, they're going to come back through the elect as children. All right. Because the elect, there's going to be women that cleave to the elect of the nation of Israel, which are going to be saved. That's the salvation of the Israelite woman, is to join to an elect man, a man of the Lord, an Israelite, and a hopeful elect of Israel, and bear children with him to repopulate the earth with our righteous seed, the Israelite. All right. Now, I was thinking of one more. I'll show you that Isaiah 4, where it says the women, they're going to cleave unto us, talking about the Israelite women. But really, any woman is really going to cleave unto us because, we're going to be stable while everybody else, like these rest of these men, are going to become like women. Even the mighty men, the soldiers of Esau. Oh, yeah, that's what I wanted to show you. Isaiah 4:1, it says, and in that day 7 women, which it's not 7 entirely, It could be 700. It could be 7,000. It could be 7. It could be 3. Just saying, a complete number of women of Israel shall take hold of one man, saying, we will eat our own bread and wear our own apparel. Only let us be called by thy name to take away our reproach. And that word reproach means shame. And if you go back into the history, this is a woman that is unmarried without children. Because the whole purpose of a woman was to be married to a man, and a man has the ability to impregnate many women. So he's not supposed to just have one woman, and they're supposed to bear children. See? So this society is very wicked, because you got women that are single, right? They're so-called independent. They're so-called working like men, right? They got houses, they got cars, but they have no man. That's a shameful fucking thing for a woman, and they're going to realize that shame, which they already are. I mean, it's all over the internet. That's why they got these red pill channels of these women crashing out, because they're turning 40 and they're freezing their eggs because they don't have no husband or no children. There's a shame in that. All right. And it's going to be more and more apparent on these women as time goes on. All right. There's this movie called A Straw, meaning the straw that broke the camel's back. It's a Tyler Perry's movie, which I don't really care for that sodomites, movies, because they're chick flicks of confusion. But in that movie, it shows you that these women are losing their goddamn mind from all this stress. They're not built to hold 2 jobs, try to raise a man's child without the man, sleeping with all these different men, having all these different men's semen stuck in them, and it stays in you forever. And that's the ones that they, remember, a lot of these women have horror stories of getting drunk and blacked out and gang raped, or even doing things that while they were awake, they do things on the cuff, just through emotion, and it's shameful things. So it's going to be terrible. It's going to be horrible for these women. So there's going to be women of Israel that repent and cleave unto the righteous men of Yahweh Ba'asham Yahushai. All right? But now I wanted to show you about the 2/3 that are going to perish. I got a video showing you. And what it was, I'm looking for it right now, but what it was a man reading off the names of these officers that are, standing posts during these protests. And a lot of them are Jake. A lot of them are so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native American Indians, right? But he was reading off the name of the badges, which a lot of Jake work in Esau's military and in their police force for a paycheck. All right? And that's why it says, them that worship the image of the beast, meaning you hope for this place to continue, right? Because you have kind of an investment in here. I can't see it, though. I didn't see it, but because there's just so many videos that I come across and share, trying to edify our people. But, if you're working for the government, and even these women that go down to Egypt for help to get some kind of, help from them, they're going to pretty much lead you into that implantable microchip. And just you hoping for this place to continue, that's going to condemn you to that lake of fire, the nuclear destruction of this place, because you're joined with it.
This is no time to waste.
Let's see. I'm not seeing it. But I could pull up a statistic just to make the point. But it was nice because this dude was recording, and I would say probably majority that they had out there were Jake cops, where he was in LA or San Diego or whatever. But he was just running right in front of them, and all of their names were so-called Hispanic names. Because what does Esau do? He'll put you to work, but then he'll violate you. All right? And just like that cop in L.A., he could have been a Southern Kingdom, but he was revealing that these devils are racist, and they hunted him down and burned a house. Here it is. No, that ain't it. That ain't it. It's something like that, though. It might have already been erased because he was reading off the names of those cops. So I'll just pull a statistic up. See, it says I asked minorities being cops in America. In America, the demographics of police forces often don't reflect the racial or ethnic diversity of the communities they serve. While some large cities have made strides in diversifying their departments, overall policing remains predominantly white, right? Because it's their system. So they're not going to give you complete power of their system. It's a so-called white supremacy system. All right, the so-called Caucasians are the red devil the Bible speaks of. All right. It says this underrepresentation can lead to challenges in trust, communication, and understanding between law enforcement and minority communities, which really we're the majority. All right. It says racial disparities persist despite some efforts to diversify. Significant racial disparities. Let me see. I think I got to get that on the read aloud. Disparities, like I read it. It says, remain in policing. For example, in 2020, white officers, which they're not white, they're Edomites, but they call themselves white. They're red, really. Comprise 71.5% of local police departments in the U.S., while Hispanic officers made up 12.5%, black officers were at 12% nationally. So these are them that worship the image of the beast. All right, they want this place to continue, and it's going to require that they have an implantable microchip to have that job. Right? Even the soldiers. This is the same for the soldiers, for the postal workers, right? For every job in this system, they're going to require that you have an implantable microchip. So them that worship the image of the beast, all right, which a lot of those so-called white officers could be of the nation of Israel, but look like so-called Caucasians, all right? But the so-called white race are the ones in power. This is why policing remains predominantly so-called white. All right. But I was just showing you that they have Jake in their system, and Jake worships the system, and they're going to be destroyed in their idolatry, especially them that take that implantable microchip to try to be part of the beast system. All right. Esau's system is going to be destroyed, and this is why you will be destroyed with him. Shalom to the hopeful elect of the nation of Israel, wa abal babal.